Hello, lads and ladies. My name is Joe, but I'm Barista, and welcome to my new stream video. Whenever you're watching this. Nice. Today, we shall continue to play to work with Blender, which is existing. I'm definitely not just starting it. I know what you're talking about. Yes, it's here. It's here. Could that be picked up by the game capture? And I realized why I changed to display capture for that one. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes us handsome. But first, let us pray. Let us load the actual thing. File. Recover last session. Ooh. Nice. Did are you not willing to help me? Huh? The fuck? Yeah, it just took you a ton of time to load. Yeah, still everything looks incredibly plasticky on my end. I don't know why. But that's also what we do the next tutorial for. That's what we're gonna do the next part of a tutorial for. Yeah. Also, I want to turn on some music in the background. But I ain't too sure about it.
It's time to...
Don't worry about it. Time to texturize. Is it time to texturize? Let us wait for a few minutes to have potentially some people doing. But really, oh, you just circle plain, totally ordinary mug. Material. Or could I been able at any time to edit my light source to I mean increase intensity or something? There you are. Light source. Come on, light. There it is. There you are. light. Just realized. Probably. G and Y. Why can I all of a sudden not move the light anymore? Edit mode, object mode. That's why. Yeah, a bit of a more intense light would probably have done a little bit of a more interesting job. Wouldn't it? Let's take a look through the camera. Ooh. Scripting. I don't want to have anything scripting. Come on, just thank you. I can go to rendering already. Wait, how it is. How it is. Carnier. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna have you render the background while I continue to watch this.
It's time to texture these bad boys, finally, after hinting at it for so long. So we added some simple materials, and that is actually fine for some types of objects. Like you might actually have a plate and go like, it's just white plate. Doesn't need any texture, but most things need texture. So I'm going to select my table floor here. I'm going to go to the material panel right here, and I'm going to add a new material since it doesn't have one. And let's look at how to add a texture. So right here where we've got base color, if we want to add a color texture, we just click on this little yellow dot next to it. I know that's not clear. It will become clear when I show you nodes. But when I click this, you get this slide out menu with a bunch of different options here.
Okay. Let's get back to modeling. Good. You went to plane, right? Plane. And you wanted to add a material, didn't you? Wait. So how did you do that before?
We got base. So I'm going to select my table floor here. I'm going to go to the material panel right here, and I'm going to add a new material since it doesn't have one. And let's look at how to add a texture. So right here where we got...
Okay, where base color is. Why am I base color?
Base color. If we want to add a color texture, we just click on this little yellow dot next to it. I know that's not clear. It will become clear when I show you nodes. But when I click this, you get this slide out menu with a bunch.
Okay, I should get a slide out menu is what you said. There it is. Good. Brick texture, attribute, color, volume, White noise texture. Okay, what can I do with that, my sensei?
Bunch of different options here. And the one that I'm looking for says image texture. Okay, so now I can hit open. And just to demonstrate this, I'm going to select a wood texture that I downloaded off the internet just to show you how this works. Now, on this note, if you happen to see this, if you use an image texture that you find online, it's because there is a new feature. There's a purpose. There's a new feature in Blender 5.0 where if it identifies in the name anything from the number 1000 to 2000, I think, it'll think that is a UDIM, which is a completely whole, production, professional workflow kind of thing. It'll think it's a UDIM. And anyways, what you need to do is then change this to single image. But most of the time, most images, if it doesn't have those numbers, a string at the end, it should just load in fine. Anyways, let's say you had an image like this, and you wanted the table to look wood, right? We're not going to do that, but just to show you. You would see it's okay, right? But there is no bump information, okay? And that is because, of course, the 3D software doesn't know that there's supposed to be crevices here, right? Little dips in between the table, the fine-toothed grain of it. It has no idea because it's just taken with a single camera. It would have no idea how to guess what that true information should be.
Yeah.
I mean, there is technically a way to guess it, but it never really turns out well. So I'm not even going to bother showing you. So most of the time when you're talking about texturing in 3D and using image textures, like textures from the real world, you don't just grab a random image texture that you find online. You need to use PBR textures, which stands for physically based rendering textures. And there are many different places that you can get PBR textures from. The best website that I think is Polygon, POLIIGON.com.
Okay. Let's be that cheap. Polygon. What kind of texture do you want me to use? PBR texture. PBR textures. There they are. Wait a second. I have to do a little thing here, apparently. Yes, weiter. Good. Fancy rendering engine. Currently it's Eevee. Meisten. Yeah. Anyways, I would like to use a simple, basic as wood texture. Yeah, I can turn that on again. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. Ooh. Which one do I like the most? Oh, dude. That one looks fine. But I can use a black one here. That would be very obnoxious. So not a black texture. A relatively light one would be good. One that fits, that complements the rest of the table. Perhaps a little bit of a dark one. Everything else that I'm having on there is relatively bright except for the table. Is it? I think I'm overthinking this a little. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, why did you not just give me one of those? Hmm.
Donuts.
Donuts. Yeah, hello, Diamond. How are you doing? Hope you are doing fine.
Me doing normal, how you?
Well, I'm doing relatively fine. Yeah, you know what? I like this one. I don't know why, but I like this one. Good. Rammed Earth 006. Also thanks for the headpad. How are you doing,
Looks
Diamond?
crispy.
How are you doing? What did you do? What did you do? Did you
Crispy earthy
do?
ball.
Why do you do this here in this way, you arse? Downloads. Downloads.
I wanna eat it.
So,
Textures. And there are many different places that you can get PBR textures from. The best website that I think is Polygon. POLIIGON.com. The link is below. And I think it's the best website because it's my website. It's my company, which I created 10 years ago, and it is now the fastest growing texture library online. So we've got photographers all over the world, and they use specialized equipment to go out into the world, and they capture surfaces, usually like photograph the surface
There
like
is a
hundreds
male
of
species
times,
in
which
my
is
screen.
what
Somebody help me.
what do you mean, me? I don't know why you're lying, but okay.
enables you to actually capture
Oh my
all
god.
of that high
I defy
information.
your genders. Ugh. I exist outside of all of these.
The shininess, reflectiveness of materials, and actually capture all of the maps that you can
No,
see
you
here.
ain't
For
blue-haired
example,
alien.
these weird looking maps is exactly what Blender needs to make the material look realistic. So we've got a bunch of different categories. Obviously, like almost anything you want to create, you can find the textures on here. But for just this tutorial, if you go to polygon.com/donut, the link for that is also below. But this has the 6 textures that you'll actually need to follow along for this video. They're all free. We've made them free.
Wait, Polygon Donut. No, wrong thing. right thing. Donut.
I want donut now. One prismatic.
Strawberry
Thanks for
glaze.
following.
Wait. I wanna see. Hello, Prismatic. How are you doing? Okay. Kinda don't know that one.
Nom nom.
I don't want the strawberry fruit glaze though. I want that
Hello
though.
prismatics.
And coffee. Coffee. Ceramic. Yay.
I drank coffee today.
Rustic gold. You drank coffee today. Oh no.
Gave 140 liras to one little Turkish coffee. I'm still crying.
Does that mean you did a terrible thing? Apparently. But wait. There's more. I just realized if I'm just taking all of that stuff here,
Yes.
then I'm gonna cut you out. Gonna go to H. Gonna go to blender.
The cheapest would be 80.
I make a new folder which I call Blender Assets.
You gonna kick out.
Good. I'm also gonna
Nyom.
nice. Good. Okay. Okay, good. Let's continue.
All you need to do is get a free account.
You're gonna ka-chow? What do you mean ka-chow? Meow.
You can download all of those by just clicking them and then hitting
I'm currently
download.
eating
And also, if you scroll down, we
better cookies. Bad. That is sandwiching
Watch you eating
Nutella. So that thing probably has more calories when you average burger.
we've got some premium text and off is going to be our cafe table. And obviously you could use any text for that. You could use some of the ones down there if you wanted to. But I want you to start with this one, this concrete texture. Because we're going to make this look like a concrete table, something that a lot of cafes can sometimes have. Now, we actually have a Blender add-on, which makes downloading and importing these things even simpler. But I want to give you the traditional way to import PBR textures first, so that you know
One normal jar is close to 500 liras, I guess.
They're all called rammed earth something. That is surprisingly weird. I'm still gonna
But me
download
gonna
it
buy
here.
it cause I wanna eat.
Also, yeah, stop that. You don't need to. I need that one. So, I'm guessing, Diamond, that you're probably gonna just straight up eat it with a spoon.
Anyways, I'm in my shitpost mood, so me gonna go and send my homegirls reels.
No, you're gonna stay here for a while. You can do that while you stay here. Nothing's gonna stop you now. Don't stop me now. Don't stop me now. When I'm having a good time, having a good
Yes,
time.
I will eat only spoon.
Yay. Yay. Also,
Just
when
spoon.
I'm uploading
Metal chomp chomp.
the thing I wanna upload today, are you willing to watch it? I'm just trying to make a conversation. I'm not very good at it.
Drapo, how was your day? IIAAAA.
Wait a second, something doesn't add up here. The hell? Come on! Why is that shit always slipping from my perspective? Wait. Backup, not backup plus. I need age. I need blender assets. Yes. Okay. That's how it goes. Thank you. And my day was decent. We woke up. I worked a little bit more on drill peak hives, and we went to a friend of ours. And then we were dog sitting his dogs for a while and going for a walk with the doggos. Yes. Yes, there were doggos. And I completely forgot what I want to do.
How to use PBR textures just flat,
Mhm.
and then I want to show you the easy way after. So once you've got your free account, you can come back here and you can click on download, this big download button. So that'll give you an 8K texture. You probably don't need it. You could probably get by with 4, but I'm going to get the 8K just to show you how it looks. Now this will download a zip file like here. Okay, so it should be fairly quick. It's about 289 megs. Once you've downloaded this texture, I need you to unzip it. So with Windows, you just right click and go extract all. If you're on a Mac, you just double click it and it should just unzip itself. Now that I've got that, you can see you've got like a preview image there. We don't worry about that. It's the stuff that's in here. This is the good stuff. This is the one we actually need to use. So I'm going to just copy this folder, location, and then back in Blender for my selected plane here,
Mm-hmm.
underneath base color, I'm just going to, just like before, select image texture if you haven't already. Then I'm going to click open. And then a lot of these images look pretty similar. There's very little detail across them. There is some, but the one we're looking for is underscore base color. So that is the one we're going to start with.
Okay. And let's go here. Let's go here. And we have programs, Blender assets. 2K. Concrete 1 base color. Okay.
Okay, so this has given us a nice, clean, delit concrete floor texture, but the same problem. We don't have that height information there. And that's because, just like before, we've only loaded in information into the base color. So it's almost like this has been printed on cardboard. That's kind of the appearance there. So we need to load in the other PBR texture maps, they're called, all of those different images that we downloaded. And we could, import and do them the same way by like clicking this little dot and then go image texture, but it's very fiddly. And this view here, you can probably tell is like, it's not designed for like complex texturing work. If you want to do complex texturing work, you should click on the shading tab at the top of your screen. Now this view looks completely different. You've got a 3D view at the top. You've got these nodes here, which are very useful. And then you got two over here that I think are kind of pointless. I don't really think they should be here. I've never really wanted them. So I'm going to right click on the like the divider between these little windows here. I'm going to say join left, and then I'm going to do the same for the bottom, join.
Okay. So you go to shading. Good. Good. Pretty good. I'm just gonna copy that approach.
Left. And then I want to flip it because I don't really like having like the top view and this. It's too widescreen to like look at things like this. So instead I'm going to right click this, say join down. And then at the top of my screen here, the top of the little divider there, until I get that little arrows, I'm going to right click and then I'm going to say vertical split. And then to make this one on the right hand side, those same shader nodes that we had from before, click from this little drop down at the top. By the way, if you don't see it, you just have to like middle mouse, like grab and pull across, and you will get all the way to the end there. But yeah, if I click that and then go shader edit.
Okay, then let's try that. Here, join down, vertical split, and you shader editor. But cool. I mean, that's not what I'm probably not gonna get used to that. But it's a good thing to know, you know?
Editor, then close this by hitting the N key. It's a lot of steps. But now I have my shader nodes. So the shader nodes over here, this is actually the same information as what we have in our material over here. For example, if I was to adjust this roughness, you can see that it's adjusting both of those values there. And when we added in this and we clicked image texture, it was basically in the background adding in this node here, which loaded in the image texture. So this is it's a simplified view. If you want to do like small changes to a material, you use this panel here. If you want to do anything more complex than that, you use the shader nodes here. And it's pretty self-explanatory to understand how shader nodes work. It's like over here, this is your material output. It's the final material. And generally you have a shader, which is something like this, Principal BSDF. That is the shader that you use for like 99% of materials now.
Yeah.
And then you just have a bunch of values. And then you can connect things into this to do different things. And I'm going to show you how we can like tweak this texture and do a bunch of stuff. But first, let's load in some of those PBR texture maps. By the way, if you're wondering, the view on the left-hand side of the screen here, why does this look different? This is because, and again, a middle mouse drag along the top there, we talked about the 3D viewport. We talked about the rendered view mode. We didn't talk about this one. This is the material preview mode. And it's literally designed for previewing materials because it loads in a like fake world view around it called an HDR, which you can actually swap out here. So you can see, you know, different types of environments, but it's a way to like quickly visualize a material without having to like change a bunch of lighting to understand how the material is going to look, because materials look very different in different lighting setups. So it's actually very useful mode, and it makes sense. It's called Material Preview. So let's load in another image. So I'm going to hit, I could hit Shift A, or I could just go Add at the top of the screen there. It's cool that Blender's hotkeys are the exact same ones everywhere. So Shift A is the same as Shift A over there, right? Add. And I'm going to go texture, and I'm going to say image texture. Okay. And now it's just asking where you want to drop it. So I can just drop it anywhere. And I'm going to click open. Then I'm going to navigate to that folder where all of the images are. And the first one I'm going to load in is this one called underscore normal.
Underscore normal. Okay. So I can add an image thing, wasn't it? That was it, right? Texture. Wait, I have to rewatch this. Because he was talking about so many things, like he was talking about the shortcut for a second more than anything else.
Okay.
So good. So texture and image texture is what you get, right?
Very different in different preview.
Yeah.
So let's look at the screen there. It's cool that Blender's hotkeys are the exact same ones everywhere. So Shift A is the same as Shift A over there, right? Add. And I'm going to
do it over there.
Texture, and I'm going to say image texture. Okay.
And you chose texture, so I'm not that dumb. I'm just an idiot. Go add texture, and it says image texture here. That should also work. Yes, it does. And you said you're gonna open the underscore normal file in this case, right? Can you please open in Blender assets? So concrete one underscore normal is what you said you're gonna use for next time. Where exactly are you gonna put it to? Where are you gonna connect it to? I don't think you're gonna put it to metallic. I'm guessing you're gonna put it to alpha? Not too sure. But we're gonna get corrected soon anyways.
Where you want to drop it, so I can just drop it anywhere. And I'm gonna click open. Then I'm gonna navigate to that folder where all of the images are. And the first, you can remember it as the normal map because it's normal to ask, why is that purple? That's how I remember it. Then just hit open on that. And the place that you would put that, you could guess, is the normal input, that little purple.
I didn't even see the normal input. Why didn't I see the normal input? So here, okay. You are connected now with a normal input.
Input there on our shader there. So the way you connect something to something else is you just, where there's a point, you just click that point and you just drag out and connect it to another point, and then you release. And then it is connected. Now you can see that there...
Wait. I should have a similar effect. Mine, right? If... It does look a little better, but again, I'm also having a much worse PC than
There
this
is some bump information now,
man.
but you wouldn't know it. But this is actually the wrong. It's partly the way to connect something, but we need to do something else. First of all, you can see that between here and here, whoops, we've gone from a yellow input to a purple input. Now, it's okay to go from like yellow to gray because gray just means grayscale. So you can go from color information to gray information. That's fine. But normal is like vector information. Yeah, without getting technical, like the normal is the way the faces, like that invisible line of the faces. And this is like faking which direction each of those pixels has. But basically, we need to add something between here and here to convert this from color information into vector information. And we can do that by hitting Shift A to add again, and then going to displacement, in this drop down, and clicking normal map. You can also, if you can't find it, you can go to the search bar and you can type in normal map as well. All right.
So, how was that? Pressing add displacement normal map. Good. Oh! Okay, that's cool. But I can just drag and drop that on the line and then it just connects it directly.
Once you've got this normal map, you then just need to drag it over that line until it lights up, and then you just want to do a single click and it will connect it. Okay, so now it is correctly connected, but still it's just not quite right. There is a lot of steps to like manually connecting PBR texture maps, which is why I want to show you the fast way to do this after this. But I need to show you this because you might be using PBR texture maps from elsewhere or from like production files and stuff, and you need to know how to actually manually connect them. So when you're working with PBR texture maps, the only texture that should have the color space sRGB is your base color, okay? Every other map should have the color space set to non-color. And again, without getting...
Makes sense. Non-color. Now it already looks a lot better. It looks like there's some imperfections in the concrete. Huh. Very cool.
Getting technical, I keep saying that because these shaders are very technical. It basically it's converting it to linear space. So it's using that, or it's actually not doing any conversion. It's just saying like let's use the raw values from that and just use it linear. Anyway. Other software sometimes call those utility maps, but Blender is non-color data. Okay, so now that we've got that, look, we've got bump across our concrete there. And if we went into the rendered view at the top there, you could see if I took my lamp at the top there and then I brought this like way down to the plane there, you can see we get this like nice gritty shadows cast across the surface there. And this is how you make materials that look realistic.
So let me take that one. G and Z. G and X. G. Can't I just move you? Come on. GX. So options, he said something before about lighting options. That was here, wasn't it? How can I change that again? Yeah, this is where we've been. Okay. So here. Not bad, not bad, not bad. So let's stop looking at this. Okay. So next part.
Look realistic. You can't get this information any other way than by very expensively capturing these surfaces. And I know that because I've seen the bills. I know how much it costs to capture surfaces like this. And it can be thousands. That's where we started. And over the years, we've got that price way, way down. But it's a very expensive capturing process. It's not easy to do. It's not fun. It's very boring to do. So unless you really want to go into that space, it's not something you want to try to do. Anyways, so that's the normal map, but there is another map which is useful. So I'm going to hit Shift A to add another map, and I'm going to say texture, and I'm looking for image.
Just tell me which one.
Okay. And then I'm going to click open on this, and this time I'm looking for the one with underscore roughness at the end.
Underscore roughness.
Okay.
Okay, underscore roughness. I'm gonna add here. Gonna go shader. Yes. It's not wrong to use that one. Textures, image texture, open. Why are you constantly not doing the thing that I want you to do? Like here. And here. And here. Blend. Assets. Good. Okay, 2K. Concrete 1, roughness. There it is. Okay. If I'm now increasing adding you to the mix, do I? So non-color is what you said I have to do. You said it's okay to add a yellow with a gray node. But it kind of tells me that this is a problem,
Okay, and then
just
like
to
before, I need to make
directly
sure my color
connect it.
space is set to non-color data.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, I want to drag this out to plug into my roughness input.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you do that, you'll see that the material goes very, very dull. So it was like, you know, before when we set this to like shiny like this, when we connect this in here, it goes dull because concrete is dull. So this is actually like the correct value for concrete. We like calibrated it to make sure. So this is that. Now, it's very often that you actually want to customize something. Like, for example, cafe tables often have concrete that has been like buffed or like coated in some sort of gloss or something like that, or an epoxy. So it's totally fine to just want to have like the free control of the slider there and not use it. Like the maps are there if you need them, right? If you really want to go for something realistic, you would use them all, but sometimes you don't, and it's totally fine to just disconnect them. Now, the other maps here, by the way, if you're curious, this yellow one, ORM, we don't use that in Blender. That's used by game engines. Polygon provides them because we, serve all the different renderers and softwares out there. Displacement is a different method than normal map. We're actually going to use that on the donut. Metallic is if the material contains metal. That's the only time you would use that. And then the other one is occlusion map, an ambient occlusion map. That's if there's like deep crevices, like if it's like a pebble pathway or something like that. This is the actual like shadows that like collects inside of crevices. But we don't need that. Honestly, most of the time, these three maps, the base color, the normal map, and the roughness, that is like 90% of materials. And that's really all that you need for those. But it is still very finicky to do this, right? Am I wrong? Like having to remember the color space and connect this and convert that. And like even just these three things was like 30 clicks. So that is why most people that are dealing with PBR textures don't want to have to do this. They want to use an add-on like the Polygon add-on. So at the top of the page on polygon.com /donut, you can click this link that says download Polygon, or you can just go to /blender. This will show you how to install it. If you don't want to read that, I'll show you how to do it right now. Unlike before, when you have your zip file, do not unzip it. Blender actually needs this zip in order to properly install it. So what you do is you drag out and you release the zip file from anywhere on the computer, and then it will say install this.
But yeah, that's a cool thing about Blender. I just have when there's an add-on that I actually want to add, it just goes, yeah, you know what? Here, drag and drop it in here, and everything's fine, bro. Like, oh yeah, you need that installed. Don't worry about it. I need to do this. I'm gonna do that for you. Imagine that. It's like the difference between IKEA furniture and having a certified crew to having a certified crew that can set up that stuff for you. In this case, it's IKEA, but they do have a certified team that builds the stuff for you. At least that's how I kind of imagined it. So I did the thing. I did the thing.
It'll recognize as an add-on, and then you say, yep, install it, and you say, okay. Now, if you go to Edit, Preferences, then go to Add-ons, you should see one there called Polygon at the top there, which means it has been successfully installed. If it didn't successfully install, maybe you're on a Mac and maybe it actually automatically unzipped itself, in which case you need to rezip it and then drag it over. But yeah, it should install if it is properly zipped. Now, once you have done that, in your 3D viewport over here, you
Yeah.
can hit N, which
N.
brings up your properties. You should see a tab there that says Polygon.
Okay. Here. I'm pressing the button N. Seeing this tab here called Polygon. Okay, good.
Then if you just like one click log in, this will take you here and then it will just say login confirmed. Go back into Blender and you should see now we've got materials in a scroll bar.
Confirm. PVN texture by clicking the eye icon. Okay, cool. That is very cool.
Right, which is pretty cool. And I can type in.
That's why I love
anything
open
want.
source stuff.
Let's say sprinkles, because I know there's some sprinkles materials here, for example. But you could also browse by category, right? You can look at all the different ones. And importantly, this will actually download it. So one click download like this, and then one click apply. And look at this. All of this has been set up automatically. All of these are automatically set to non-color. We've got the exact precise correct use of every single map that is ready to go. But anyway, go back to my previous material here and let's go to the free category and then let's use another one. So this speckled glazed ceramic plate. And by the way, you can like click the little drop down there if you want to see something online to get like a better picture for it. You can quickly.
So yeah, I'm gonna go back in here. Select category. Filter. Free. Here's the thing. Free. Okay, then where's the speckled glaze? There it is. Download started. Find ads you previously downloaded. You can turn off one click. Okay. Apply. Yeah, now I have an 8K. What's the name again? No, I have an 8K plate. Now my plate actually looks kind of decent. Okay, but I would still love to change the color a little bit. Come on, let me change the color a little bit. Can I change the color? Okay, what if I'm removing that texture and I keep your color normal? Surface doesn't work the way I want to, which is a little bit depressing. Okay, so it doesn't work that way. I get it. Cool. I mean, I'm a little depressed about it, but that's a different story. So, that means I can just do this one. Download 2K. Download 8K just for the jokes of it. Also, this feature is really cool.
View it that way. But this is the one we want to apply to our plate here. So with my plate selected, I need to, first of all, hit download. I've already done it, which is why I don't see it. But you hit download and it'll just save it to your folder, which is in your preferences. And then with an object selected, you should be able to hit apply. If you don't see the apply box, it means that you haven't got an object selected. So make sure one is selected in order to click that box. Okay, so we have correctly applied it. You can see all the nodes are there. It's the correct material. Why isn't it showing up on our object? Now, this isn't a fault of the texture or anything like that. This is to do with texture mapping, which is the next thing to understand when it comes to textures, is textures are 2D, right? 2D. And our objects are obviously 3D. So how do you apply a texture to an object? There are so many different ways. And the most common way is to use UV unwrapping, which is the default method, which is what it's actually looking for right now. You can see that's the texture coordinate that it's called in is UVs. And for something like a plate, this is the most simplest thing ever because it's just creating UVs. So in edit mode, so just tab and then select your entire mesh like that. Then hit U for unwrap.
Wait, how did you...
UVs. So in edit mode, so just tab and then select your entire mesh like that.
A. So... And... No. Edit mode. Edit mode. Come on, stop acting weird.
Then hit U for unwrap, and then select unwrap angle based. And look.
What did you do?
That it's called in is UVs. And for something like a plate, this is the most, just tab and then select your entire mesh like that. Then hit U for unwrap.
Okay. U. Unwrap angle based. Hmm. Go on. I know you can do it.
And then select unwrap angle based. And look, now the texture has been applied. So what did that actually do? If you go to your UV editing tab at the top of your screen there, just click that, you will see, and let's focus on our object. So number pad right there, and I'll just
Thing kind of froze.
Just turn this off so we can see the mesh underneath it, and this one as well. And let's look at the wireframe. Okay, so when we UV unwrapped it, it basically took, I mean, in the case of something as flat as this, it just took a snapshot of it and then it put it into the 2D space over here. And from your drop down, you could actually change it to the color map and you could see where it's actually applied to on it. So if I select a point right here on the mesh, you can see which point is actually selected there. So it's right next to this little spot, and you can see there is this spot in the ceramic there, okay? And
as you come on, stop fucking around.
If I was to select everything with A, and then if I was to hit R to rotate, you can see that the texture is being updated over there. In fact, if I turn off the overlay there just to see it more clearly, and then I turn on the thickness, right? Watch this. As I select everything in edit mode, I can move this around and the texture coordinates are updating in real time. Okay, I can also scale this by hitting S, and this is a really common thing you do because like often a mesh is a completely different size to the captured size of the object. In Polygon's case, for like detailed textures like this is a 30 by 30 centimeter texture, which is actually probably pretty perfect for a plate. Maybe a plate should be a little bit scaled in like that so that the dots are a little bit bigger. But you could see this is very, very easy to do. Let's go back to layout over here.
Good. Come on, stop being frozen. File. Last session. Shading. Join up. Join up. Okay, wait. I added this thing. What did you say? I have to press again. Tab? No.
By 30 centimeter. Things like this. So instead, I'm going to right click this, say join down.
Ich dachte kurz, der hat wieder Shisha angemacht.
Right hand side, those C. And close this by hitting the N key. It's a lot of. You can like more. It's the fun that is things. And I text. Why does this look different? This is because, and again, a middle mouse drag along the top there. So I can just drop it any easy.
Come on, tell me how it works.
Like, coated in some sort of gloss or something like that, or an epoxy. So it can, it's totally maps by game. Don't want to. So at the top of the from anywhere on the computer, and then it will say install this.
Also, didn't we have like
you're on a once you have done that in your 3D viewport over here, if you hit N.
Okay, it's N. N. And we don't have a polygon thing anymore. Good, but now I'm pressing N. N. I am so confused. I have no idea what's wrong with my blender all of a sudden. Why is the add-on not working? Like, that doesn't make any sense anymore. Huh? What's your damage? Tab N. Might have to test something out. I will never be not surprised about the amount of bullshit that is running in the background of my PC, and I don't even have control over half of it. Modules installed is what you said, huh? So yeah, my precious setting is still not there. Well, I guess I have to do it the old-fashioned way. Add texture and image. Click. Copy. Paste. Good. Add. Wait, no. First, open Blender assets. Base color. A concrete base color. Yes. And another one. Paste. Good. Open. Normal. Change from RGB to non-color. Put that in here. Add this vector displacement. Nice. And here only one more thing with roughness. Again, non-color and roughness connected. Great. So I'm gonna add texture, image texture, open. So in this case, we're gonna use ceramic pottery glazed. And we're gonna use normal. Non-color. Add it's normal map. Wait, this is wrong. Delete. Add displacement normal map. Okay. Add texture. Texture. Open. Roughness. Non-color. Wait. You have to go into edit mode. There's a pretty big chance that my PC just can't handle the amount of unnecessary nodes that I have there.
Which brings up your properties. You should see a tab there that says polygon. Then if you just like one click login, this will take you here, and then it will just say login confirm.
Yeah, you already said all of that, and for some reason it doesn't work anymore. Oh, now the plate actually looks like it has some texture to it. Can I steal that? Like, generally. Copy. Paste. Add like this thing to normal. This thing to roughness. Of course, we're all a little bit like this. So I'm gonna go to edit mode for you as well. You? Do I have to do the same thing for the for the cup as well? For the mug.
Nice and close to it. Now that I'm here, I'm going to do the same thing. So hold down Alt and then select this line here. And now I'm going to hit Control E and do another seam. Okay. Now that I've done that, select the entire mesh. And just like before, to unwrap it, it's U. U to unwrap and unwrap angle based. Now watch. Normal map and the roughness. That is like.
So it's still angle based. Object mode. Well, let's go to a donut. I'm doing the same thing on your end. Gonna paste. I'm gonna change your stuff here. You're gonna be food pastry donut. Roughness. You're gonna be food pastry donut normal. And I think I need a few more things on your end, which means I'm gonna have to paste one more time. Don't think I need that one anymore. But I can scattering. The hell? And these are not. This is non-color. This is non-color. Forget it was supposed to be done color. Good. Here. Scattering color. Well, let's just get rid of you. Good. Edit mode. I see. You unwrap angle based. Well, I can live with that. Good. What else did you?
Like 90%
Mm-hmm.
says down to properly from anywhere on the computer, and then it will say now if you go to edit single map that is go to the free category. Don't see it, but then apply entire mesh like that.
Yeah, again, I can't do this because your add-on
Polygon's case
for some
like
reason doesn't work
detailed
anymore.
Let's go back a little bit more complicated. So I'm going to hit N to bring up the properties again. I'm going to scroll down. So this is in the textures free category. Scrolling down, and I'm looking for the strawberry pink glaze. Okay, so we got this strawberry pink texture, right? And this was actually captured by literally pouring a bunch of icing into a pan and then using a stereoscopic scanner to capture it from all dimensions so that you get this like really interesting, like that height information there, the little bumps of like the sugar crystals and stuff popping through. Pretty cool. Anyways, let's hit apply on that.
Okay. I'm gonna add a few things. Paste. Non-color, non-color. Glaze, normal. Again, non-color. This time I really want to keep my chocolate thingy. And is here roughness. Non-color, roughness. Oh, that looks so good. Yeah, I'm not gonna. I mean, it already looks good, but that's just the icing on the donut.
Okay, you can see there is some texture on here, unlike the plate, which came in like nothing. And the reason for that is that when you add in a torus, like certain primitives we added in a torus, it actually comes in with UV unwrapping already created. Okay, so with this one here, so it's already got some UVs, but all that extra work that we did at the bottom there, like extruding some things down, that's all been missed. All of the way that things have been shifted because now it's lumpy, all of that is missing as well. So it would help to actually UV unwrap this again and project these points in a way that actually matches the mesh. So
Okay, that's why the torus doesn't fail to unwrap it, because it already was perfectly unwrapped. Okay.
So the way to think about this is, what if this mesh was made of paper and we had to lay the paper flat over onto this texture on the left-hand side over here? Where would you place the cuts on the mesh in order to lay it flat? And in the case of something like this, where I would place the cuts would be essentially along the edge, right along here. Okay, so if I alt-click along that edge there, that should select all cuts would be essentially along the edge. Right.
So I still don't know what kind of view that is over there. But let's take a look. Texture node editor. UV editor. Okay, nice. I'm gonna turn you into 3D viewport just for the sake of it. So edit mode. Alt A. Ooh, nice.
Right along here. Okay, so if I alt-click along that edge there, that should select all the way around it. So do check that it goes all the way around it. If it doesn't, then this next step will come out a little bit funny. Anyways, now that I've selected that, to add a cut, I'm going to hit Control E, and then I'm going to select
Mark Seam. Control E. Control E. Mark Seam. Okay.
Okay. And now if I was to go back into wireframe mode here and then just turn off this selection, you should see that we've got a line here that is red. By the way, the one next to it that is purple, that is the one that has the crease, which we added when we used the solidify thing to make it cling to the donut a little bit better. So we've got this line that goes all the way around it, okay? And that has done a cut. Now, nothing has changed yet because we still haven't UV unwrapped it. And that's okay because we need to do one more right in the middle of our donut.
Okay. So if everything works out the way I want it to, then I just need to go inside here. To go closer there. Have to Alt A that thing. No. Alt A. Okay. Okay, then it's again Control E and Mark Seam. All right.
If you just select like a random point on the inside of the donut there, then hit your focus key, tilde 3 or numpad period, then you should be able to get in nice and close to it. Now that I'm here, I'm going to do the same thing. So hold down Alt and then select this line here. And now I'm going to hit Control E and do another seam. Okay. Now that I've done that, select the entire mesh, and just like before, to unwrap it, it's U.
Thanks for
U to
joining
unwrap
in,
and
Choco.
unwrap angle based. Now,
Gonna change here again to shader editor, and here the 3D viewport. Object mode. Edit mode. Do not circle, etc. U and unwrap angle based. Oh, it's loading. At least it did its thing. Last time it didn't work at all.
now watch what happens. Ready? Wow, that's taking a long time. I don't know why it took that long. I've never seen it stall like that before. Okay, anyways.
You never saw it stall like that before, and here I am having Blender freeze right in front of my eyes. Poor Blender. Poor Blender. Ooh, but everything is fine now. Everything should be fine now. Let's look at this 3D viewport, object mode, and oh, look at how nice that looks. Nice.
But look, that is perfect. That's pretty well perfect. I mean, there's probably a little bit of stretching there. There's always going to be stretching, guys. You'll never get it perfect. But as long as the stretching is minimal, like that is pretty well good. It's laid flat. Like it looks almost like a cowhide rug, you know, like
Yeah, completely.
dead animal that's been stretched out. It looks like that, but like that's how it works, right? So now if I go into material view, look at this now. We no longer have, I mean, you couldn't really see it clearly before, but you no longer have the stretching that was happening there. It's now been properly stretched across it. It's been properly.
Nice. Again, the add-on that he gave should have worked. It worked the first time. But for some reason it doesn't work when I retried it. But I have everywhere a thing now, don't I? UV editor. Texture node, shader editor. No. Python console. Don't think I need that. Honestly, this would look really good so far. I think I would be almost proud with that one.
Properly mapped, and so we've got the texture going all the way in there. Now the scale of this is probably wrong, so I like to change the scale here, and I want to see it over there. So I like to turn off my overlays at the top there. So you can just click that little box. That'll turn off everything, so you can't even see what's selected. And now I can just change the scale here, and I could make it bigger or smaller. But yeah, you can play with the size and try and get it good. But why does it look so pale and pink and like not as fun as it was before? Well, it's because when we added in that texture, right, when we clicked this, it overrid
Overrode.
the material that we had before. So if you go back to your shading tab, you'll see we got all these textures. And for example, before we had a pink color that was in the base color. Now it's been overridden with the actual strawberry color, which was captured with the camera. However, that strawberry is a little paler than what I want. So I'm actually going to disconnect it because there's not actually that much information in color when it's something like this. All the information is in the bump. So we can really just get by with, actually we don't need metallic because there's definitely no metal in it. I'm going to keep the roughness. That's okay to keep because I just actually want to see that. I'm going to disconnect this, which is the subsurface amount, because I want to control that myself as well. And I'm just going to leave the roughness and the normal, and that's it. Oh, I should explain how I was disconnecting those. So if you hold down Control and then right-click drag, that is how you can disconnect. You can also just click these points and then just disconnect like that. But I prefer to Control, right-click drag, and that'll cut it.
Literally cutting it up,
sever the tie. And now that I'm here, I'm just going to set these values to what I had before. You know, just playing it by eye. What pink color looks good. Set my subsurface amount, radius to 1. And then I'll change this scale value till it looks nice. But there you go. I've now got my fleshy pink donut. But I now have this lovely, bubbly sugar crystals, real glaze going on the donut. All right, now let's do another fun one. Let's do the donut itself. Now, this is an interesting one that I had my team do before I started recording. I had them go out and scan a real donut, scan it all the way around, then map it to a torus, and then just get the extracted data. And because this has been already UV unwrapped to map the exact square, just like what we, just like what is captured for this type of map here, now I can just apply this and it'll automatically do it. So let's do that. Hit apply, and that's pretty good. Like, that's nice color. We got nice bump there. If we bring back our icing, you can see that's already pretty good, right? But there is something else that we can do, because when I was talking about shading, you might remember I mentioned that there is 2 different ways of creating bumps, right?
Yeah.
The normal one, the purple one, that's the one we've been using thus far. But there's another one here which comes in disconnected, and it's the displacement map. Now, in the newer versions of the Polygon add-on, like the next version that's coming out after this, you'll be able to, in this last use box here, you'll have an option that says displacement type. You can currently see it in cycles. So if you use that, you can change it here to displacement and bump. But because Eevee only just came with this feature to enable displacement, it's not yet there. So we would have to connect it ourselves. But essentially all it's doing is when you change that little drop down there, if I grab all these things here, hit G to move them down, and then I sever this tie with the normal, and then I take my displacement. Don't put it in the normal input though, put it in the displacement output of the material here. And what this is...
Oh, cool. So if I'm going here, I'm gonna add displacement, also a map. So I'm just gonna add texture, image, suck, and I'm gonna add a displacement. So I'm gonna open here, go to Blender assets, go here. I have here pastry donut displacement TIFF. Yeah, when you are connected to color. It's connected to height. Of course. Wait. No, wait. What was it? Can't disconnect it. That's interesting.
Down there. If I grab all these things here, hit G to move them down, and then I sever this tie with the normal, and then I take my displacement. Don't put it in the normal input though, put it in the displacement output of the material here. And what this is doing now is, well, it's still a fake bump, but the other setting that it would enable is here in your material properties, right down here at the bottom where it says displacement, it would change that to displacement and bump. And now if I select my icing, hit H to hide it, you can see that the mesh has changed, right? This is the underlying mesh. It's now kind of expanded. And this is actually the captured data of the height, and it's being projected out of the donut. But it can only use the actual data which is on the mesh, okay? So it currently looks kind of like chunky because there's not enough information. So if you go to your modifier panel here, and then what would we add to add more geometry? We would add in another subdivision surface. And now when we do that, if I increase this, you can see if I increase it 2, 3, 4 times in the viewport, you can see I get a lot more data come through. Okay, I think 3 is about it. I'm just gonna, I'll set render to 3 or 4. Yeah, I'll set it to 3. That should be fine. It comes in a little bit projected. If you want to change the scale of it, you can also do that. Here, I could change the scale from 0.2 to about a 0.15.
You could.
Also, you should see how it looks with your icing. So I'm going to hit Alt H. You can see it's actually, clipping through it. So I'll select my donut again, and I'll change this scale here to about a 0.12, like that. And then, of course, the other value that this is missing is the subsurface scattering, because, again, we overrid the placeholder stuff that we had there before. So in here, I'm going to sever this connection, and then I'm going to set this to 1, and then I'll just make this, whatever. And look, you can make this look like so buttery nice. Like, look at how soft and fluffy this donut looks.
You mean blurry? That's what I would call that. That looks blurry. Then add, wait, paste. Hello, Asian. Come a little late. Ambient occlusion. Scattering color. How did you have that connected anyways?
Nice. Stuff that we had is the sub 2, like that. And then, of course, the other value that this is missing is the subsurface scattering, because, again, we overrid.
How was it subsurface thing for? Come on, show me. Also, hello, Asian. How was your day?
I'm good.
You change that little drop down there. if I grab all these things here, hit G to
Just
move them
came
down,
home a bit late.
and then I sever this tie with the normal, and then I take my bump. And now if I select my data of actual chunky 2, 3, 4, want to change the scale of it. Scale here. Placeholder stuff that we had there before. So in here.
Why do you change that to a radius? Like, why do you want this to be connected to a radius? Like, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Well, we need to
Turn
restart
to
from
the
something.
right. Yeah, we need to restart from something. That's right. Image editor, 3D viewport, edit mode. Come on. Stop being so stubborn.
We've got real donut that has been captured and projected onto our torus. And that's just 2 materials, which is really cool. The final object to texture is our mug, and I'm going to do that in the next part because we need to go much deeper into UV unwrapping and show how to unwrap a custom object. So join me in the next video.
Yeah, okay. That sounds like a good start. If that thing would just fucking work. Come on, let me change this shit again. So, and I want to know now how I can change my camera again. Really don't like where you are at the moment. So, why? Huh? Why are you so zoomed in? That doesn't make any sense. Or okay, let's render that. But yeah, my dear. How saddening that you joined in only that late. Especially because now I'm just gonna render this image if we can view image. Please. Breakfast.
Blending.
Come on. Blending. Yeah, blending. If the thing would finally do the thing I wanted to do. Yeah, that looks about right. Close area. That looks good. I really want to render this. Render image. Well, it looks decent. It looks good for a very first try. Yeah, I think I can let this be. I mean, we still gonna do this one next time, and this still looks like plastic despite the fact that I gave it that nice ceramic texture. But what are you expecting? But that also means we're only one video away from being able to continue to being able to start the VTube specific tutorials. Because again, I want to work on this model
Also,
here a little bit.
The whole stream.
Yeah, you basically missed the whole stream. The whole stream I was just trying to put some texture on everything. But yeah, I'm a little that happens. Brain is a little rainy. God damn it.
Clocked out of work.
Knocked out. I'm so sorry, Knocked.
I also missed it.
Yeah. I've been here for ages for well, for ages, for 2 hours, but I'm usually only streaming for 2 hours. But you know what? We're gonna make this one next time, the UV unwrapping tutorial, the basic UV unwrapping tutorial. But, Blender, VTuber avatar blender. Everything is pain. Like here is, for example, a seven video series by that dude. Do that, who the fuck cares? And here is that one. Prepare your own VTuber model. I mean, yeah, that's what I did. That's why it looks so cheap. Oh my god. That definitely is not Ruby or something. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, SHII, that's what I've been doing for 16 hours straight today. UV wrapping makes me depressed.
Yeah, I've been doing the Blender tutorials, as you see here. Also, I would like to actually download that video picture at some point. Come on, save. Police breakfast. Save as image. Good. Yeah, but I wanna learn a little bit of Blender so that I can work on that kind of stuff a little bit more, you know, a little bit more on my own avatar. And that I can hopefully do some stuff for the other plans I'm having. Like making cheap little games in Scratch. Yeah, I'm learning Blender to be able to make games in Scratch. That's the reality, definitely. But I think I need to get on the project page. Yeah, that's the fucking thumbnail. Good, thank you. But now I want to learn a little bit more about making video games, so I'm doing programming and pseudo game dev streams on Monday and Blender on Wednesday. Then I can learn this kind of stuff here, because some of these models are so incredibly well made, and I always realize again that the only reason my avatar isn't that great because you've made it with VTube Studio, which isn't a bad program, but it's bad if you want to have something more dedicated and you still incredibly lack the possibilities or skills that you need for it. And with Blender you can easily just make a lot more stuff, obviously. Yeah. Should we look into the next video for a second, just so that there's a last video. There are two last videos. There are two more videos. I was a little bit confused that I could, but yeah, finally, only one video left. But no, there's a 7, there's an 8. There are 2 more videos.
The time has come.
There's more things than I expected.
Unwrap and texture our mug. So we did a little bit with.
So, just to recap, in order to unwrap any more increased details, I have to make seams. Am I getting this right? Yes, no, let's go. And that's what I did here, and that's why the texture now wraps more neatly around that thing. Also, I on purpose I used incredibly unnecessarily high stats just for the joke of it. And I realize every time again that I'm kind of regretting that. Like, look here. The least textured thing in the entire thing is my donut. Like, the thing that should be the main focus. The most textured thing is my godforsaken plate. And the one afterwards is my icing. Like, don't step I did there. Oh, I love it. I love it. Also, the color is was a good choice. I like how it turned out. But yeah, my dear friends, I'm still gonna have to say goodbye at some point. I still gonna hope that I can see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna continue with Hollow Knight. With Silk Song, we're gonna finish. So we not be able to finish Silk Song because we still have to do the fucking Coral Tower. I hate the Coral Tower so much. Anyways, I hope you had fun. For I did have fun. I'm very sorry for you people. Very sorry, but I'm getting tired.
And have a lovely time.
So yeah, I hope to see you in the next stream. Video? Well, whenever you're watching this. So, aus einem Grund, den ich nicht verstehe.
Was?
Aus einem Grund, den ich nicht verstehe.